I hear some people say like, "Oh, I root for greatness." It's like, just grow up, dude. Do you ever hear people say, "I root for greatness"? It's like, what are you talking about? Do you like sports? Like you root for greatness, really? So you rooted for the evil empire when you watched Star Wars? Like, would you have rooted for, I don't know, the British Empire in 1776 because they were great and America was the underdog? Like, did you root for the Soviets in the 1980 Miracle on Ice because they were great? I just hate it so much. It's anti-sports. It's anti-competition.
Philly pride insists that's all. Andrew Rappin and Wild Bulls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems. Philly verse and Wild. Hear the call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Loud and clear. Join the chat. It's time to cheer. Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew says that Brad unite. Philly and Y in the spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 26, the Eagles Super Bowl preview. Is this Dad?
Let's
We
go.
are 6 days away.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge game. You ready?
Revenge game. I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit.
And it's your second Super Bowl in 3 years.
Yep.
I hope you're grateful for this.
I am very grateful for this.
Good.
Yes.
In past episodes, you've talked about your superstitions, your idiosyncrasies. You're hilarious. I mean, they're just ridiculous. The best one, is, in my opinion, is where you have to wear the same color as the Eagles are wearing it on that game day.
Mm-hmm.
While you're watching it, you have to be in the same color.
Yes.
Do you have anything special for the Super Bowl? Eagles are on the Super Bowl. I do something extra.
Not really. Same tradition stands, still wear the same color uniform that they wear, same color jersey. I do have my playoff beard is getting pretty long, but that's just a playoff thing. That's not a Super Bowl specific thing.
So this whole time you've been growing a playoff beard. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's really not that long, but yeah, I mean it's a little bit longer than it typically is, and it's going to go for another 5 days. So that's about it. I don't think there's no other. You can't mess with what got you here. You know, you have to just keep. You got to just stay the course, stay locked in, and go for the glory.
So what does the playoff beard do?
Obviously, it harnesses the energy from myself, and it transports it. Yes, exactly.
It transports the vibes.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what it does. And if enough of us do it, then they'll win.
What if the Chiefs fans are doing it?
Well, that then we're in a real battle, man.
You need more Eagles fans to grow out the playoff beard than Chiefs fans. That's really what decides the outcome.
That is the key. Listen, we don't need to get into the X's and O's or anything. It's just going to be who grew more playoff beards, who grew longer playoff beards. It's, none of the matchups or anything really matter.
All right. Well, that's the episode. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. All right. Before we get into the matchups and talk about the game, I know you have to have some hot takes on the Chiefs and why you hate them, how everyone hates them and is rooting against them. So let's hear your thoughts, because last week we kind of got into it and you refused to actually have the conversation because you wanted to save it for this week. Yeah. So let's hear your hot takes on the Chiefs dynasty and everything.
All right. So first off, I obviously have an immense amount of respect for the Chiefs. I think they're great. I mean, they're probably the greatest team that I've seen in my lifetime. Obviously, we're going to have the debate of them versus the Patriots as the years go on, and that's all fine. That's all well and good. Those two teams are clearly a cut above the rest of the teams who have had some success. Seattle and Denver had a couple nice runs. So like they're a cut above. I'm very sick of them. I'm very much annoyed by them. I just don't really care for the whole Mahomes shtick. He's obviously great. He's the best football player I've ever seen in my life. But I just, the fake slides and they do get a lot of calls. They just do whatever. That doesn't really bother me that much.
It will if they get calls on Sunday.
Well, actually, so I have kind of I heard somebody say this on the radio, and I actually think that there's some validity to it. So I actually think all of this chatter around the refs and the league and the rules, like I don't think that there's a conspiracy theory about like I don't like people go really nuts with
Good.
this stuff. I think well I do think that maybe subconsciously like refs lean towards the Chiefs a little bit. I don't think it decides the outcomes of games as much as you think, but I do think that all of this chatter around it, I actually think it benefits the Eagles a little bit just because there's so much noise around it that it's such a bad look for the league. Whether it's true or not, it is a I know you're not on Twitter. Like Twitter has been flooded with like anti-Chiefs, anti-refs, like the refs totally botched some calls in the Bills game like they just did. I'm sorry. It's so weird too cuz Chiefs fans are like screaming from the mountaintops like they're it's like oh like they're so insecure. It's like you guys are the best. Like, why are you complaining that people are mad at the refs? Like, there's got to be
Oh
some
yeah,
validity
no, you
to it.
wouldn't do
If
that.
you
You
got,
wouldn't do that.
I would never do that.
This is a fan thing. When
The worst
you
thing,
don't
no.
want you don't want your
Here's
team's success to be diminished. That's a thing. You feel they take it personally.
I
You would
wouldn't
you would
care.
too.
I wouldn't. No,
Yes, you would. Yes,
I
you
would
would.
be. I would
Yes,
be
you would.
laughing. I would be laughing at everyone.
No,
But
you wouldn't.
anyway, so here's like this actually is a new rule that needs to be implemented in the rule
Oh
book. I
boy.
think
Here we go.
because man, you hear so most
To
people.
clarify, this isn't the NFL rule book, right? This is your rule book?
This is my rule book.
Your
Yes.
fan rule book. Okay. All
Fan
right,
rule
go.
book. Now, to be clear, this is the very rare instance where I think the nation is rooting for Philadelphia. And if you're not rooting for Philadelphia,
Oh boy.
unless you're like, listen, obviously if you're a Chiefs fan, that's a given.
Obviously, okay.
Or if
See
you're
what you're gonna say.
if you're gambling on the game and you're putting money on the Chiefs, like that's totally fair. Root to win money. But if you're just a casual viewer of the NFL and you're rooting for the Chiefs, like you can go to hell. I mean, what I've heard here's
What if you're
and here's
what if you're a Giants fan?
you should still that's more understandable, but you should still be rooting for the Eagles. And here's something that I've heard over the past, couple weeks since the Chiefs. I hear some people say like, "Oh, I root for greatness." It's like just grow up, dude. Do you ever hear people say, "Oh, I root for greatness"? It's like, what are you talking about? Do you like sports? Like you root for greatness, really? So you rooted for the evil empire when you watched Star Wars? Like, would you have rooted for I don't know, the British Empire in 1776 because they were great and America was the underdog? Like, did you root for the Soviets in the 1980 Miracle on Ice because they were great? Like, it's just such a dumb like. I just hate it so much. It's quintessentially what sports are. It's anti-sports. It's anti-competition.
Like
Like,
rooting for the
did you?
underdog.
No, rooting for the quote unquote
No,
greatness.
but I'm saying you're saying the quintessential thing in sports is like the underdog winning and the underdog story, the Cinderella story. Yeah.
Yes. So you're telling me that when, like, I don't know, the 73-9 Warriors team, like when like you were rooting for the Warriors in the final, like that's just it's so lame. It's so
Oh,
like I root for greatness. Just grow up. I mean, seriously, just stop.
Oh,
Stop with
God,
the
you're
I root
ridiculous.
for greatness. Please. Please. Did you root for the Soviets in 1980? So we root for greatness. Like, who's the greatest player on the field on Sunday? Is it Barkley? Maybe. You gonna root for Barkley because he's great? No, it's so tired and like, don't you want to see the team? Like, don't you want to see them get taken down? Seriously, it's just like it's enough. Enough of this already, man. We get it. You're good. Like, okay, cool. You're never gonna lose again. I root for greatness.
If the Giants were playing the Chiefs, you'd be rooting for the Chiefs.
Yes,
Okay, good. But not because they're greatness, just because you hate the Giants.
yes.
So it's okay for Giants fans to root for the Chiefs. Cowboys fans maybe too.
Yes, fine. Yes, if you
Fine.
are if you are a division rival of the Eagles, I still think that there's some gray area with that. Like I happen to hate the Giants with an unrealistic, like stupid passion. I don't think
Yes,
most people hate their division rivals as much as I hate the Giants.
that's probably true.
Um, but that I will allow as an exception. But if you're just Mister I root for greatness, like
That's
really?
really it. There could be other
Did you?
reasons.
It's so
Wait, let me ask you a question about
stupid,
the
man.
greatness thing. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it came to my mind. When you're watching a random baseball game, two teams, nothing to do with the Phillies,
Mhm.
and someone has a pitcher has a perfect game going. Are you rooting for that? Say you're watching in the 7th, 8th inning. Are you rooting for the perfect game at that point, or are you rooting for it to be broken up?
In that instance, I think it's something that's so rare that yes, I would probably be rooting for
Rooting for greatness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
different.
Interesting.
No, it's
It's
different.
different because you decided it's okay.
It's different because it doesn't really matter that much. Like it's fun and it's cool. But like Mark Burley, go ahead, throw a perfect game. That's cool. Like
You know what's
I don't
funny? I actually typically root against it.
and honestly, part of me does too. Like I think it's funny like when you'll see like, in the 5th inning they'll have a no-hitter going and like everyone on Twitter starts to text each other, "Hey, look, he's got a no-hitter
Everyone on
going."
Twitter
And
texts each other.
shut up. You know what I mean.
All right. So I agree with you.
So
Most
if
people
you're
are rooting
rooting for
against
the Chiefs, grow up.
If you're rooting for the Chiefs because you root for greatness, you are a child and
Mhm.
grow up or don't watch football. Don't watch the game. Tune in for the halftime show.
Or root for the Soviets in 1980. I mean, please.
Yeah, go
Not
back and root for
greatness,
the Soviets.
please. Root for greatness.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, Eagles versus Chiefs, the rematch from 2 years ago that the Chiefs won by a field goal with the 8 seconds left to kick that field goal, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So we're going to get into this rematch, talk about, well, let's just get into it. Let's just get right into the rematch aspect. These two teams have, even though it's only 2 years, there's a significant change. These teams were high-powered, electric offenses 2 years ago, and they both transformed into really strong defensive teams. Obviously, we talked about all year. You're well aware how good the Eagles' defense has been, arguably the best defense in the league, and a lot of it is much different players on the defensive side of the ball than they had 2 years ago. I mean, even different than last year, but especially 2 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of, what is it, probably 6, 7, 8 different guys on defense?
That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the offense is pretty similar, except one important player, Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the passing game was definitely much more explosive 2 years ago for the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And the Chiefs, it's kind of weird. Mahomes is kind of, in his at least regular season performance, has taken a step back. Really, last year and this year, they do not put up these crazy offensive numbers as they used to early in the dynasty. Actually, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts have the 2 lowest air yards per attempt out of every quarterback in the playoffs. Mahomes 6.4 and Jalen Hurts 6.3.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of the key players from last game versus now, I think the biggest difference is probably Saquon on both teams. That's fair to say, right?
Yes, definitely.
For the Chiefs, Kelce's older. He's not as good, but we've seen him in big games already in this playoff run. He's been very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Some personnel, I mean, the quarterbacks are the same. The head coaches are the same. You got Kelce, you got Jones, Karlaftis, and then A.J. Brown, Devonta.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the main, and then, some offensive linemen on both teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the O-line's the same. Obviously, Kelce retired, and Isaac Sayamalu was their right guard. But now they got
there.
Yeah, Becton's there, who's been really good. Jurgens just moved from guard to center, but everything else is pretty much the same. Yeah, I mean, Dotson instead of God, what the hell was his name? Quez Watkins. That's pretty much a wash. Although Watkins had a couple of really bad drops in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean Barkley is is going to be key for them. As good as a season as Sanders had, he had a horrible Super Bowl. Couldn't get anything going on the ground, and I think that is going to be ideally like the perfect scenario for the Eagles is to get up early. Because man, if you go back and watch that Super Bowl, the Eagles like they dominated that first half. There's a real world where they're up like 28 to
Yeah.
7 going into halftime. You had the Hurts fumble. You had one of the worst overturned calls I can remember as you probably don't remember. Late in the first half, Jalen Hurts hits Devontae down the right sideline, and he caught the ball. I think he was like inside the 15-yard line. He was deep in Chiefs territory. They ruled it a catch on the field. They reviewed it for 5 minutes, which usually the longer they review it, the more it's like it's not. And they
Stands.
somehow came up with
Upheld or something.
right,
Yeah.
and they actually overturned it. There apparently was significant enough evidence to overturn this call, and then they don't get it. They end up settling for a field goal, and then obviously they had the fumble recovery by Hurts led to 7 points. They returned that just like we said last week. So they totally dominated the first half. And then the second half, yeah, they weren't really able to it's just a lot of little things added up for them to lose that game. They had the fumble, they had a couple of key third downs that they just couldn't convert. They couldn't get over the hump in the fourth quarter. They had obviously the infamous hold by James Bradbury that gave them the first down. And they gave up a really big punt return late in the fourth quarter to Kadarius Toney, who took the ball down to like the 5-yard line, and that was huge. And
Yep.
I just think a lot of these little things. It's funny if you go back and like it's almost as if everything that you hear from the coaching staff and the players, it's almost as if they're teaching and like trying to do things based on the mistakes that they made in the Super Bowl, based off the sloppiness, based off the turnovers, like just how they harp on that so much. Turnover, sloppiness, like details, all of these like little things. It's like, oh yeah, like it makes a lot of sense that they're kind of taking what they learned from that game and applying it to just like their philosophy and the way that they coach the game now. So, but yeah, back to what I was saying. I think that there's a recipe for this team to try to get out to an early lead. Obviously, you have to be up like more than one score on this team. If it were me, I'm just trying to get up by 10 plus points and running Saquon till the wheels fall off.
We're going to get into Saquon, how he matches up. I have a few notes for you regarding the rematch. You probably, I would say, there's a good chance you've heard of these, but let me know if this is news to you.
Okay.
This is the ninth Super Bowl rematch and the second one for both the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Chiefs' 4 recent Super Bowls have come against just their 2 opponents, the Eagles and the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia also faced New England twice in 13 years. Going back to the last matchup, 21 total starters returned from 2 years ago. Kansas City has 12 returning starters. The Eagles have 9. 7 on offense, 2 on defense. Who are the 2 returning starters on defense?
For the Eagles?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually 3.
There's 3?
Yeah, Slay, Gardner Johnson, and Blankenship.
Blankenship was a starting safety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess my information was wrong. Unless maybe one of them didn't start in that game.
Maybe.
Okay. Last one for you. The Chiefs finished the regular season ranked 8th in rushing defense, 101.8 yards per game, but have struggled against the run in recent weeks. Over the last 4 games, including the 2 playoff games, the Chiefs allowed 164 yards per game on the ground. The defense in those last 4 games only forced 2 turnovers.
Yeah. Specifically, I also heard there's a guy, Eagles, not Eagles, but just Philadelphia Hall of Famer. This guy, Ray Didinger, does a really, really good job breaking down the game. Yeah, he's great. Super good guy. I love his football analysis. And he said that one interesting aspect, specifically Saquon versus the Chiefs run defense, although the Chiefs run defense is pretty good, apparently they struggle with like an inside zone type handoff, and the Eagles like excel running Saquon up the middle. Yeah. Yep. They give up 4.5 yards per carry on an inside zone. So
okay.
Yeah. So that
wow, that's interesting.
That matchup favors the Eagles a little bit.
Look at you, the
How about
fanatic.
that,
Now
dude?
the
How
now
about
the
that?
analyst,
That's right.
the analyst. The roles have been reversed.
See that?
I
Yep.
have to have some hot take.
Yeah, you need to go on an unhinged rant about how bad Hurts is.
All right, Saquon Barkley chasing the regular and postseason combined rushing title. What is he, like 30 yards away or something like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So barring injury, he's going to get that. Is the game plan going to be simply like what do you think? What do you expect the game plan to be? I know you talked about you want them to get up by 2 possessions. You want them to get up 10 points and then run the ball. Do you think they're going to come out running a lot, or do you think they're going to come out kind of using Saquon as more of the decoy, do a bunch of play actions, and be aggressive?
Yeah, something tells me I think they're going to start airing it out to start the game. It's going to be, you know, I think the Chiefs are probably going to gear up to stop the run at first, and the Eagles are going to have to take advantage of that. They're going to have to take what the defense is giving them, and I think they can. I think they could do that. They threw the ball really well last week. Devontae Smith has been awesome against the Chiefs in his career. Last year he had a really good game. The Eagles beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead last year, and then obviously he had a really good game in the Super Bowl. I thought he was getting open for a lot of the game. So yeah, I want to see them air it out. I want to see them get a lead and just don't make the same mistakes that you made last time. And then yeah, I'm gonna try to wear them out, play tough defense, wear them out, and then let Saquon hit, just
The big
bust his
run
big
in the
run in the
second half.
second half. We've
Yep.
said all year that he's really good, and then towards the end of the game, the defensive line just kind of, you could tell they get worn out, and then they really start to feast towards the end of the game because I think they're just exhausted because they've been getting their asses kicked for
Yeah.
45 minutes up to that point.
I think that's a big key in this game. I think that's really how that's how I envision the Eagles are going to win. Now, if there's many ways to win a football game, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts can throw for 350 yards, and they could win. But I do envision it that way. I do envision a pretty low scoring game, and the Eagles and Barkley hits like a home run, 60, 70 yards in the fourth quarter, and that's a difference.
Yep. Yeah, they just have to they got to do what's got them there to this point, so that they're gonna have
Yeah.
to take what the defense gives them and just no turnovers. You just cannot turn this ball over, man. And they haven't done it a lot since the bye week, and they need one more game, good ball security, and like you said, it may be a home run or two from Saquon. Who the hell knows with that guy? I don't know, man. I think I like their chances. We'll see what happens.
So I went through the matchups, and I'm going to go through each one, and I want you to, before I get into some stats that I have, some metrics, I want you to just give your opinion. Who do you think it favors?
Okay.
All right, just
Yep.
quick. The fanatic emotion. Tell me what you think. It could
Okay.
be you being ultra negative and pessimistic, or it could be you being confident, or you could be just trying to be objective as possible, which is probably impossible because you're a diehard Eagles fan and they're in the Super Bowl.
All right.
So, all right, Chiefs offensive line versus the Eagles defensive line. Who wins?
I actually think the Chiefs offensive line wins that matchup.
All right, you ready for some advanced metrics, advanced stats?
Yes.
Joe Tooney, number 1 interior offensive lineman in pass block win rate in the NFL this year. 98% pass block win rate. Number 1 in interior offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Isn't he playing tackle though?
Oh, he is playing tackle now. He got moved because they had some struggles at the guard position, right?
Yeah.
They had the opposite.
Yes.
They struggled at tackle, so he got moved.
Yes.
That was late, somewhat later in the season, right? I think it was
believe
14
so.
or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, either way, he's a great offensive lineman.
For
We
sure.
know that.
For sure.
So he's playing the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be matched up against not Nolan Smith, right?
He'll be matched up against Josh Sweat if he's on the edge.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Creed Humphrey is 6th among interior offensive linemen in pass block win rate at 96%.
Pretty good.
The Chiefs are good at pass blocking.
Okay.
All right. The Eagles defense, 8th in pass rush win rate. 3rd in run stop win rate.
Mm.
Chiefs 8th in pass block win rate and 7th in run block win rate. So running game, based on those stats, the Chiefs should struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think that matchup is
So
pretty
are you
close.
saying, I was going to say, so are you saying advantage Eagles defensive line?
I think it's advantage Eagles defensive line. I do. I think
Yeah, I think
if
it's close.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close. They're not as deep as they've been in years past, but I mean, you got a couple guys who can rotate, just not quite as much as they typically have. But yeah, I think it's a very much splitting hairs.
It's a good matchup. It's a good
It
matchup.
is a good
I
matchup.
think it's a
Yeah.
I had this as a second separate matchup, but it kind of goes into the one we just mentioned. I have Chiefs run defense versus Saquon Barkley. It's a little bit different because obviously there more goes into stopping the run than just the defensive line. More
Mhm.
goes into running than just winning your block at the line of scrimmage.
Mhm.
So I have for that. Do you want to give me your favorite? Chiefs run defense for Saquon Barkley. Who wins that matchup? Who has the
I
advantage?
I would take Saquon Barkley against any running
Anyone.
defense in the league.
I'm with you.
When they went to Baltimore this year was the number one rushing defense in the NFL, and he ran all over them pretty easily. So yeah, I would literally pick Saquon
Saquon over any run defense. I'm 100% with
any
you.
Reid. Yes.
So Saquon actually, I saw this today. He generated plus 172 rushing yards over expected this postseason. That's the most by any running back in a single playoff run since 2018. And I did not look up who that running back was. I didn't care.
Okay.
7 years ago.
All right. Yeah. Probably Todd
Pretty good.
Gurley, if I were to guess. Right?
I'm not really good at remembering the years like that. That was the year Todd Gurley, 2018. I feel like it was even. I don't know. I believe you.
I just know that the Rams made the Super Bowl that year, and it was Rams Patriots. I doubt any one of the Patriots running backs did that.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, it could have been a team that lost in the conference championship. Either way, okay. Chiefs don't have anyone in the top 10 of run stop win rate on their defensive line or linebackers, anything like that. They don't have anyone in the top 10. They don't have anyone in the top 13, actually. So the Chiefs struggle against the run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop. Don't look at me like that, man. Come on.
That's the main reason I'll talk about what I'm betting, but I'm betting on the Eagles, and that's like the main reason. Lane Johnson, 5th in offensive tackle among offensive tackles and run block win rate.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs as a team 21st in run stop win rate.
Wow.
Oh man. Come on, that's exciting for
Saquon,
dude.
Yeah, for sure. You're hyping me up right now, man.
I hope so. I saw that. I was like, oh my god. I thought the Chiefs.
Wow.
Everyone talks about the Chiefs' run defense like it's so good. And then you. I mean, that's not. There's more to stopping the run than just run stop. But that's pretty significant. Significant that they're 21st in run stop win rate. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next matchup: Eagles secondary versus the legend, Patrick Mahomes and the passing game. Who has the advantage?
Well, I think if you just go if you take Mahomes out of it, which obviously you can't,
don't take Mahomes out of it.
No, well then it's the Chiefs passing game. But
you
what I will say is that
you didn't say if we take Saquon out of it, it's the Chiefs.
You're right. But I'm just saying specifically like skill position versus secondary. I mean, I love the Eagles in that matchup.
Not even close.
It's not even close. I mean, what do you got?
But then
Juju and Hopkins. I mean, come on.
You have Kelce,
right?
And
which they will probably double him. They'll probably bracket him. They'll probably try to knock him off his spot as much as he can. And Worthy, yeah. But again,
Worthy's probably their biggest threat at this point, actually.
Right, but yeah, I like Slay, Mitchell, Gardner Johnson,
So your answer is
Like,
is your answer the Eagles with
no.
including Mahomes? No, because Mahomes is the
Yes.
just like you wouldn't pick anyone against any run defense against Saquon. You're probably not going to pick any pass defense against Mahomes.
Yep. Totally fair.
I kind of disagree on this.
Don't even say it. Come on.
Dude.
What's going on,
All right.
man? What are you trolling me to get me excited for?
I'm not trolling you at all. Patrick Mahomes targeted receivers behind the line of scrimmage on a career high 26.9% of his attempts this season, resulting in 851 passing yards, which was the second most on passes behind the line of scrimmage in the NFL. All right, so they're good at that, right?
Mhm.
They did that on passes behind the line of scrimmage. They got a league high 45 first downs. Okay, something about the scheme. Chiefs are good at that. The Eagles' defense allowed the fewest yards per attempt, 4.1, and the lowest success rate, 39.9% on passes thrown behind the line of scrimmage this season.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' strength is going to be taken away by the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was just thinking I'm having a lot of plays go through my head, and yeah, they have
the
been
linebackers.
really good. Yeah, the linebackers. DeJean has been really good at that this year. Remember, he had that one big hit on Derrick Henry against Baltimore.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Specifically, N'Kobe Dean was very good at that. So that's
They miss
a
him,
little bit skewed. Yeah, they're going to miss him, but yeah, he's still got Ball and he's still got DeJean. Gardner Johnson will get his nose back there. So I like it.
I got more for you. More for you in the secondary.
Oh God. Okay. Let's have it.
Quinyon Mitchell's nearest defender stats this season. Actually, let me make this more exciting. His nearest defender stats in these playoffs, during this playoff run, they're incredible, man. He's allowed just 5 catches on 15 targets for 24 yards.
Wow.
2 interceptions. A passer rating allowed of 2.8. Yes.
What?
I know. Crazy. That's absurd.
Wow. Quinyanamo Bay. Great nickname.
That is a good nickname. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah.
I know what they're trying to do, and then as a Jets fan, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have my permission. It's actually better than Revis Island.
It's fantastic. I mean,
it's a good nickname.
All-time nickname.
Mitchell Unworthy. Do you think they're going to move him around? Or does he play one side? Does he play one side?
He pretty much plays one side, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much plays. I think he plays the right side, and Slay plays the left.
So, yeah, I'm going Eagles secondary against the great Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
All right. Chiefs defensive line versus the Eagles offensive line. Who has the matchup advantage?
Again, I'll take the Eagles offensive line against any unit in the NFL.
We're going through this matchups. Why are the Chiefs favored? Other than because of their dynasty, what they've done in the past years. I don't know. And the refs.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Jones, number 1 in Pro Football Focus grade for defensive tackles.
Wow.
He's also number 1 in defensive tackle pass rush win rate. Yeah, I mean, you don't need those metrics to tell, and no one needs that to know how great Chris Jones is.
Sure.
But that's off the charts. He's the best defensive tackle in the NFL this year, at least like in terms of pass rush. And PFF thinks in terms of everything. Lane Johnson was 5th in offensive tackle pass block win rate, and Jordan Mailata was 14th.
Okay.
94 and 92% respectively. Lane Johnson and Mailata. Nick Jurgens, number 10 in
Cam
interior. Jurgens. Oh, what did I say?
Nick?
Why did I call him Nick?
I don't know.
Anyway, number 10 in interior offensive line pass block win rate at 95%. So those are 3 really good offensive linemen at protecting the passer.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs were 21st in, I already told you, 21st in run stop win rate. We already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what they were in pass rush win rate? That's PRWR. Pass rush win rate.
Guess what they were? I'm going to say they were 4th?
19th
Really? What is going on?
Everyone thinks the Chiefs' defense is better than it is. I don't know. They didn't give up many points this year.
Dude, what is going on? You
Uh,
are like
None of these
I
metrics are
feel
made
like
up.
you're messing with me, dude.
You think at the end of this, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that was all a lie. The Chiefs were first.
Maybe.
These
That
are
would be
all
great.
these are all metrics I got on ESPN's analytical page and Pro Football Focus, and there may have been a couple I got on FootballReference.com. But assuming those really credible sites are right, or accurate, these are real. I'm not messing with you.
So is it just Chris Jones and a bunch of league average guys? I mean,
Yeah.
what
Like everyone thinks Karlaftis is some like amazing player. He
I don't
grades
please.
out really poor, like he's like
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
He's guy who plays next to Chris Jones.
Yes, no, that's actually true. This
That
is
might
one
as
of the
well be on the
times.
back of his jerseys.
This is one of those times that you're spewing stuff that I actually agree with you.
Thank you. Wow.
Because you like to think that just because someone plays near a great player that it makes that they're just riding his coattails and he's not actually good, which
That's
obviously
right.
a really good player could be playing with another really good player. In this case, I agree with you. All right.
Great. We got something brewing
Eagles?
here, man.
So we're giving the Eagles the advantage on the O line versus the Chiefs D line. Okay. Advantage Eagles. Eagles special teams versus the Chiefs special teams. Before you answer, I don't have any metrics on this. I did not look that up. I didn't find anything that was, I thought, substantial.
Great. I don't know. I guess I would say the Chiefs.
I would say the Chiefs because of Bucker, right?
Yeah, they seem to be a pretty well coached unit. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have actually been pretty good in coverage this year. I would say they've caused a couple big fumbles.
I was going to say the
playoffs.
turnovers that they've caused in the playoffs have been impressive,
Yeah,
but I just can't trust. When you're missing extra points,
yeah,
I just can't trust you. And Bucker hasn't missed stuff like a field goal inside 40 yards in the playoffs in his career.
Yeah, yep. Good time to start missing him there, Harrison.
Yeah. All right. So, advantage Chiefs. Congrats, Casey.
Yeah.
All right. Next matchup. Eagles receivers. That is A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith versus the Chiefs defensive backs.
Another instance where I would take these two guys and line them up against anybody and feel confident.
I'm with you. The Chiefs do have Trent McDuffie, who is, according to PFF, the number 3 rated cornerback in the NFL.
He's excellent, yeah.
But he's kind of small for A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm. I agree. This could be a good game where I think this is why Devontae has had such success against them, because McDuffie, I think he follows AJ around, which leaves the lesser corner on Devontae. And then let's not forget about Dallas Goedert.
We forgot about Dallas Goedert. I didn't mention him in that. I didn't mention him in the. I said wide receivers, but we can. You're right. Let's not forget Dallas Goedert. That's a huge part of their passing game. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more targets and catches than both receivers.
Yeah, he has. He leads the Eagles in receiving yards for the playoffs. So he's the Eagles'
all-time leader in receiving yards.
Yeah, he's no, he's been really good. He's been their best.
He has been
pass catcher in the playoffs this year.
He's been really good. I haven't seen anything on how the Eagles' passing game does against 4-3 defenses. Just from your recollection throughout the season, has there been much of a difference? 4-3, 3-4?
I haven't noticed a difference. No.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. Joshua Williams is their number 2 corner, and then they have I have no idea to pronounce his name. Les Chenel on the slot.
Okay.
Brian Cook and Justin Reed. Justin Reed grades out pretty well as a safety. Brian Cook does not.
Okay. Advantage.
So, I think that this is kind of an even matchup. I would say advantage Eagles slightly, but I don't think it's going to play a huge role. Because as we talked about, I think the Eagles are going to run the ball really successfully.
Yep.
They're going to need to make a couple big plays here and there, third down, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
At the red zone, they're going to maybe need to make a play. But McDuffie's really good, but I don't believe that he has the size and physicality to stop A.J. Brown. at least not consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, then you got Devontae and you have Goddard. I say advantage Eagles slightly, but I don't put that much emphasis on that matchup.
Sure. Yeah, I mean when AJ's physically right, he's he's amongst the best in the world. So on a good day, there's no corner that can slow him down.
I agree completely. All right, I got one last I almost gave it away. One
I know
last
what it is.
matchup. Andy Reid versus Nick Sirianni. And this time I got the Nick correctly.
There you go. Yeah.
Nick Jurgen. All right. So I think off the top, you're going to have to say Andy Reid, right?
Of course. Yeah. Well, how could you not?
I agree.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, also probably the better Eagles coach, Andy Reid.
We'll see. Nick's making a case for himself. The only coach in Eagles history to go to 2 Super Bowls.
And almost get fired in between them.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, I think you have to give the advantage to Andy Reid. Andy Reid's not just he has a great team and he's being built up like this great amazing coach, because this is a guy that's had so much success regular season. This is going back to his Eagle days. He's been, and everybody used to say, he can't coach in the playoffs. That obviously that's not true. And the offensive schemes are always really good. The team always plays discipline, like you were talking about. They don't commit a lot of bad penalties. They don't turn the ball over. I think you have to give the advantage to Andy Reid, but I don't know how much it matters.
Well,
But
I think that I think the more kind of not interesting matchup, but just the more important matchup is Fangio versus Andy Reid, and then on the flip side is Kellen Moore versus Spagnuolo.
Spags,
Yeah, Spags.
your favorite coach.
My favorite coach ever. I think I don't know, I think this Eagles defense is really good, and they're the closest thing to the Legion of Boom, like since those Seattle teams 10 or so years ago, where they really don't. And what scares me about a Spagnolo defense is that they seem to throw, same with like a Todd Bowles defense. They're really good, and they just seem to throw some crazy shit at you to make you think. Whereas the Eagles, they line up, they put a single high safety, and they say, come and get it. And they're just super physical, and they're tough, and they're fast, and they tackle. So they really don't do anything like super fancy. It's just a matter of like, can you get past us? Here we are.
They're probably going to have to do a little bit more scheming for Mahomes.
I don't know.
You got to give him some different looks. You can't let a guy like that know what's coming. But I understand what you're saying. I agree with your point. All right. We have some storylines and interesting stats to get to. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The Eagle. Well, we already talked about this, I think, during our NFC Championship recap episode. The Eagles' 55 points in the NFC Championship game victory over Washington was the most points scored by a team in a conference championship game since the 1970 merger. And I think I brought up who did it against Washington? Someone scored like 73 points against Washington. I forgot the team.
The Bears. You said the Bears.
Yes. It was also Philadelphia's playoff record for the Super Bowl era, with 7 rushing touchdowns against the Commanders. So we did talk about that, but still pretty incredible, the 7 rushing touchdowns. And we compared it to how the Cowboys had like 6 on the season. All right, this season, the Chiefs rank second in the league in fewest penalties per game at 5.4. That's including the playoffs. And the Eagles are 9th with 5.9. For those who are curious, which is you, Philadelphia has been penalized for roughing the passer 4 times compared to 1 time for the Chiefs. Conspiracy. 1 roughing the passer penalty all year on the Chiefs. Guess how many were called vice versa? A team roughing the passer on the Chiefs.
Let's say 10.
That would be crazy. It's 5, and that's like the second most. 10 would be crazy. But anyway, that's funny. 2 were called against someone roughing the passer against the Eagles.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
Travis Kelce, who already holds the NFL record for postseason receptions, 174, is closing in on Jerry Rice for the most touchdown catches, which is 22. He's at 20 touchdowns.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And now we got some Eagle stats for you. Saquon Barkley's 2,447 rushing yard leaves him, as we talked about, 30 yards shy of surpassing Hall of Famer Terrell Davis for most in a season, plus postseason.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, by the way, I was looking at this. Did you know that Terrell Davis had like a 3-year peak where he ran for postseason, regular season combined like 8,000 yards?
Really?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like that was like his career.
Yeah.
He was only
Damn.
good for like 4 years. I didn't realize that. That was crazy. The Chiefs have won 9 straight playoff games and 17 straight one-score games. How is that possible?
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
This season, the Chiefs are 12-0 in one-score games. Guess what? Do you know what the Eagles are in one-score games this year?
Let's see. I don't.
Can you guess how many one-score games they lost? I mean, it's not that easy. They only lost 3 games overall, right?
They lost 3 games overall. So they lost two one-score games they lost.
9-2.
9-2.
After going over all this, where's your confidence level? This may not have impacted your confidence level, although I think some of those stats did a little bit.
Yeah, they did, and I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more confident as time goes on. As we get closer to the game, I'm getting more confident. I still don't know who I would ultimately pick to win. As I told you last week, I won't believe the Chiefs lose until I see it. They've just pulled these games out of their ass like for way too long. But I truly believe that the Eagles are the better team, 1-53.
I agree completely.
I thought that 2 years ago, but this just feels a little bit different. The defense is just so much better at all 3 levels than they were 2 years ago. And that pass rush was really good, but the field, I don't know if you recall, but the pass rush was slipping all over the place.
I don't recall that specifically, no.
Yeah, go back and watch. They were sliding. I mean, the field conditions were horrible, and I mean, a
Conspiracy
pass rush
again.
Well, do you want to hear something crazy about that?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really? Are
I
you
do.
gonna? I think you're gonna make fun of me for saying it. But
Mostly gonna mock it. Yeah, probably.
so the guy who was in charge of the field for Super Bowl 57,
Oh my god.
goes by the Sod Father. He is a lifelong Chiefs fan, Kansas City season ticket holder, and that job that he did was the last thing that he did before retiring.
Oh, I thought you said before dying.
No, lifelong Chiefs fan, puts together the worst field ever to seemingly negate the second greatest pass rush of all time, and then retires. So
And are
take
you
that
sure
for what
about
you will. Yes,
I will take that as if
Look it
there's a
up.
lot going there that's probably not true or exaggerated.
Look it up. Look it up. The
No,
Sod
you're
Father,
right.
that son of a
All
bitch.
right. That was good though. I like that conspiracy. That's good. That's a fun one.
Hey, yeah.
So, what is your biggest concern? It's the Chiefs just doing their thing and like will they keep finding a way to win a game that they shouldn't win like they have all year, like they have many years now? Or is it, and this is kind of combined, is it the refs?
It's not really the refs. Again, I think that so I don't know if I finished this thought before, but I think all of this buzz around the refs, I just think it helps the Eagles because
You said that it
again,
helps the Eagles, yeah.
it's such a bad look that if it continues to be bad, then like the league has, not that the league is ever going to be in trouble, but yeah, people are going to talk about it all off season. If there's questionable calls that go the Chiefs' way, again, it's going to be talked about until September. So, and to give you an example, so I don't know if you may or may not remember this, but the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl of 2017, all year, all playoffs long leading up to that game, that was the era where nobody knew what a catch was, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody, nobody knew. Did it hit the ground? Did he maintain control? And like, there was so much controversy over the catch rule that in the Super Bowl, And I believe that there was some controversy in the championship games, the round before. And then in the Super Bowl, the Eagles had 2 questionable calls that they ended up ruling as catches. And I think that, you know, to go more conspiratorial, like, I don't know, I think that perhaps the league got together and say, hey, let's like be a little bit more lenient with catches, and I think the Eagles might have benefited from that. Because they had Corey Clement caught a touchdown in the second half where the ball moved as he was going down and hitting the ground, but they said like he never lost control. He maintained control. Even though the ball moved when he hit the ground, he still controlled it throughout the catch. And then there was another one where Zach Ertz caught the ball down at the goal line. He took a couple of steps and he broke, as he was breaking the plane of the goal line, somebody knocked the ball out of his hands. And it was like, was he a runner? Did he establish control? Like, there was a lot, and they upheld both calls for the Eagles. So I think that a lot of the more like buzz around something that can be perceived as negative for the league, like I think that they, in theory, would make adjustments to it. And
so your point is that the refs are going to be, the crew is going to be so conscious of this, whatever you want to call it, hysteria about the Chiefs getting all the calls, that they actually might go in the other way on questionable calls. They might lean towards Eagles. I thought you were talking about something about like, I thought you meant from like the Eagles' perspective, like, but you're saying I actually think there's a possibility, because these are people making calls. They have some sort of, even if it's subconscious bias. That's not impossible. It's interesting idea, interesting thought.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it's gonna like decide the outcome of the game, but
Well,
I mean, I think you might see a call or two that ordinarily goes the Chiefs' way that might not. That's all.
Well, can we also agree with this? And this goes back to this Eagles Super Bowl winning points that you pointing out a couple things that were questionable went their way. There's a good chance whoever wins the close game, they had a couple questionable calls go their way, no matter what the outcome is. That's how football is.
Sure. Yeah.
So we can say that going into the game, that it doesn't mean there's a conspiracy either way. It just means that that's how officiating in the NFL is. So, okay. You're pretty confident, though. More than you would normally be.
I am pretty confident. Yeah. I
like it.
I think that, and another thing, I think the Eagles got bullied a little bit in the second half of that Super Bowl 2 years ago. And I don't think that's going to happen again. I think the Eagles are now the bullies, and they're angry. I know that they're angry, and they want revenge. So I think that they have a real shot. I think they're really motivated, and I think that they want to prove everybody wrong.
All right. Let's get right to it. I'm betting on the Eagles. I'm taking their money line. I like them as underdogs. I think they're the better team. I just went through the metrics earlier. They're the better team. The Chiefs are favorites because of the dynasty and because of Patrick Mahomes and all the hysteria around the refs cheating for them. That's not actually why they're favorites. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of betting, though, I want to ask you something. Have you ever done these Super Bowl boxes or squares?
Years ago, I did. Yeah.
What a silly concept. Why do people do that?
I'm not super into them. I don't know. I guess it's something fun to do at a Super Bowl party.
By the way, I did it.
You did? Great.
Yeah. There's some sort of nonprofit that Jess knows someone who's raising money for some nonprofit, and 50% of the winnings go to the charity, and you get 50%. And I was like, sure, why not? I'll buy a couple boxes. I forgot what numbers I picked. I don't even remember. I have no idea. I don't care.
God.
I just assume that I'm just giving money to this charity, which is fine. What a ridiculous concept, though. Like, you pick numbers, and you just hope that like a quarter ends in those.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous concept. Why not just bet on the game?
Well, I think this was before betting was allowed.
Yeah, but they're still doing it when betting is allowed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not
now it's just tradition. Yeah.
This is like the hottest take you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
And you're
suck.
And you're ruining it. if you do a Super Bowl box, you're an idiot. You don't like life. Grow up.
There you go. Now you're getting it.
What about prop bets? Like people that bet on the length of the national anthem or the coin toss. Like, are we serious? We're betting on the
I've never
length of the
gotten
national
into
anthem.
that. I mean, people will bet on anything if you let them.
Yeah, and there's people that have inside information on the national anthem.
Mm,
They're seeing like part of like the event crew or whatever. They're getting set up.
Yeah.
Or the broadcast has an idea of how long it's going to take, so they can plan. The production can plan when to go to commercial, when to do this,
Mhm.
that.
They
have an idea.
Dude,
People have an unfair advantage.
Yeah, we gotta find somebody who knows this stuff, man.
Yeah, I
Put
know.
some big money on it.
So yeah, I'm just gonna do straight money line Eagles. I might do like some prop bets, like player prop bets a day of, but I'm in on the Eagles. And
Dude, the best prop bet you can do, in my opinion, one of the podcasts I listen to says this a lot, and the Mahomes over under for rushing, like his rushing attempts, it's usually set at like 1.5, and in the playoffs he scrambles like so much, and it's like,
yeah, but that's probably like minus 1,000 or something. You're probably getting like terrible
I
odds
don't
on it.
know. I don't think so. I mean,
There's
they
no
said
way.
it. They said it as an over under, yeah. And he had like 11 rushing attempts the last game.
He's in the playoffs. He rushes a lot. There's no way he's he's in
Look
a
it
run
up.
for. I will look it up. You want me to look it up right now?
Sure, yeah.
Look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up. You won't look it up right now.
I won't. You
No.
tricked me. You got me.
Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology. I wasn't going to until you said it. Super Bowl props, game props. Where do I even find this? Rushing props. Oh, who like all these first player to 10 plus rushing yards? Saquon. First player to 20 plus rushing yards. Saquon. Will the Philadelphia Eagles rush for a touchdown? Why? I mean, why would I?
I mean,
come on.
Jalen Hurts tush push, man. Come on.
The whole number of players from Kansas City to have a rush attempt. I don't see it here. At least not on FanDuel. Oh, Mahomes. By the way, did you see the MVP line?
No.
Patrick Mahomes is plus 110, the field minus 190. I mean, no, minus 150. Wow. I don't see. Oh, rush attempts. Here it is. Patrick Mahomes rush attempts over. I don't know where you get it. 5.5's the line.
5.5. Okay. Well, it went up.
That's still a good.
I would still, yeah, I'd still take the over on that.
But the over is minus 152. I wouldn't touch that because I don't like minus 152. But I think he'll get over.
They must have bumped it up. Yeah, they must have.
Maybe
saw a trend.
Maybe. All right. Do you have any Super Bowl game day food traditions?
Not really. We just get like normal stuff. We'll probably get some pizza, wings. My brother makes this really, really good thing. His boss is from Buffalo, so we used to go to like tailgates up at the Bills all the time.
Buffalo wings.
He makes this thing called a garbage plate, and it's basically like it's just a giant thing of like rice with all kinds of shit in it. It's got like, I don't even know. It's got like hot dogs and a bunch of stuff. It probably sounds disgusting, but it's one of the best things you'll ever eat in your life. It's like spicy and flavorful. It's like, it's so effing good. And he pretty much only makes that on the Super Bowl. So hopefully I'm going to tell him to bring some of that.
Oh, yeah, you got it. And then if they lose, throw it around. Throw it at the wall.
Yeah.
You drink during the Super Bowl, even when the Eagles play?
I'll have some drinks. Yeah, I'll have a. I won't get.
You don't like
drunk.
getting drunk. You don't like getting drunk during an Eagles game in general, right?
Sometimes I do. Not for this one. I'll probably casually sip something while the game's going on, and then if they win, then yeah, I'm
then
gonna
you'll
get
drink.
Fucking hammered. Yeah.
We might have to jump on the pod though for a quick. If they win. Nice.
Yeah, get me nice and lubed up.
I'm being serious.
All right.
I don't think you're taking it seriously, but I'm being serious.
Okay.
All right.
I would totally do that
Okay, let's do it.
if
If
they
they
win.
lose, we won't. I won't make you do that for. No, you're gonna be too upset.
I'm gonna be beside myself.
No, yeah. Okay. Subscriber questions. I sent you these. Did you see them?
Yes, I
All
did.
right.
I forget what they are, but
That's good. We have 3 subscriber questions. We'll start with number 1. At Sean F55. Eagles fans, if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl this year, do you think he'll be in the conversation as the best quarterback in Eagles history? Or does he need to do more to solidify that legacy? The legacy conversation. I love it.
you love legacy conversations. So I
One game
absolutely
determines
think
someone's
he's in.
legacy.
What'd you say?
I said one game determines someone's legacy.
Yeah. Well, no, I absolutely think he is in that conversation already. The problem is that he's only been a starter for 4 years, so he just doesn't have the some of like the longevity that some of the other guys have. I mean, the thing about the Eagles is that they haven't really had that many good quarterbacks
Who's
like
the
in
best? Who
their
would you
time.
say? Is it McNabb?
So people would say McNabb, who's good. You know,
Cunningham?
he's certainly great. Cunningham was good. Like McNabb's not a Hall of Famer, I don't think. You know, he made it to one Super Bowl and
He was
lost.
really good, but he's not like amazing. Yeah.
He was really good. That team was also kind of like this Chiefs team, like very defensive led. You know, they had the 1 year of TO, but other than that, it was very much run focused and not really good skill positions
Brian
outside of
Westbrook.
running backs. Yeah, Westbrook, Deuce Staley was good, but their
Yeah.
receivers were awful back then. Again, until they got TO, and then they made it to the Super Bowl and lost. So
I don't
yeah, I
remember the
think he's.
receivers on those teams other than To.
Oh, they were horrible. James Thrash, Todd
Oh yeah.
Pinkston. Yeah,
Yes,
they were.
Pinkston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I do remember them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
I think that the concept of one game or one day affecting someone's legacy is absurd. But I know people like to build it up and do that, so I'll play along. If he wins a Super Bowl, yes, that would solidify his legacy as the best quarterback in Eagles history because been to 2, only Eagle quarterback to do that and win 1. All right, subscriber question number 2. You ready?
I'm ready.
At Fly Eagles _ Fly Forever. That's an awesome Instagram handle, by the
I
way.
love him. Yes.
As an Eagles fan, how worried are you about the Chiefs? Extra man, the refs. So we talked about this. This was among your biggest concerns. Well, no, you weren't concerned about it. You think it's going to help the Eagles. I'm concerned about it
Yes.
as someone who's betting on the Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm not real. I'm not really. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I'm not really concerned about it. Will I get super annoyed and want to throw something if like there's a questionable call that goes their way? Yeah, definitely. But I
No, you think it's going to help you think it's going to work in the Eagles' favor.
I do. But again, if that happens, yeah, I'll be super angry. But I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna affect.
I'd say to Eagles fans, don't go into the game thinking that. Like if you go into the game thinking that any call that you
Yes.
emotionally disagree with, you're just going to get angry and think it's the refs
Right.
cheating for the Chiefs.
Yep.
That's not what's going to happen. All right, question number 3. At Urban Explorer _42. That's a random Instagram handle.
Mhm.
With the Eagles' dominant season, if they win the Super Bowl, where does this roster rank in Philly history? Are they one of the greatest teams to ever wear the green? So when I first saw this question, I wasn't sure if they meant Philly sports in general. But and then I just read it. I actually just read it again now.
Mhm.
And obviously when they say wear the green, they have to be talking about the Eagles. I didn't realize that. So when I was thinking about it earlier, I was actually thinking about like Phillies teams and the Sixers teams.
Mhm.
So what do you think?
Yeah, so if they win this, then yeah, I think they're without a doubt the best team in Eagles history. I think if they had won in 2022, I think that team would have been considered the best team in Eagles history. 2017, as much like fun and awesome as that team was, I don't know. There's just something about the way that this team dominates the opponent and just the different ways that they can beat you. 2022, they didn't really face too much adversity. Like they kind of kicked the shit out of a lot of like weak teams. and they just weren't their defense specifically was just all pass rush. They didn't really have the best back seven. They were fine, but hey, I just think the combination of these receivers, just the roster is just insane. The receivers, Saquon, the defense playing at all three levels, like they're just and
Yeah.
now going up against if you dethrone arguably the greatest team of all time as they're going for the first ever three-peat and you take them down, that would be pretty special, man. I don't think that there's I don't think there'd
I
be
think it's
another
fair.
team in
I think
history.
you'd have to rank them as the best team ever. It's incredible that you're saying that.
The worst team I've ever seen. Oh my
Oh,
god.
that was this season.
It will never get old.
Oh
That was
my
you
God.
that secretly wrote that question and from your burner account so that you could
Yeah.
drop that.
So I could just drop that.
You
Yeah,
can drop the clip, yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I think they have a chance. They're 2-2. They can
don't
improve.
have a chance. They don't have a chance.
Oh man, that's so good. All right, we are a little bit less than 6 days away from the Super Bowl. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right. Any last thoughts?
Nope.
All right.
I'm ready to go, dude. Ready to go.
He's committed. If the Eagles win, when the Eagles win on Sunday, we are going to do a very quick recap. He's going to be drunk. He's going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have made some money, so I'll be happy too.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Love it.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Silly pride insists that's all. Andrew Rappin and Wild Bulls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems. Verge and wide. Hit the call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Now it's clear. Join the chat. It's time to cheer. Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire.